Welcome to the Week 8 newsletter for the Abernathy Fantasy Football League. I'm your host and your commissioner. I know it's been a while since we had a video newsletter, so let's get to it. We'll take a quick look at the previous week's games. I won't go back any further than that, but we'll take a more intense look at the standings and with an eye on who's has an easier way to the playoffs for the season. We start looking at last week's games with the game of the week. Lee's Cowboys narrowly defeated Chris's Lopes at 107.32 to 105.75. So easily qualifying as the game of the week. Not necessarily the highest scoring, but very, very tight game, neck and neck the entire weekend. Pretty rough weekend for a lot of people, but this was definitely a good game. Next game we have is Kyle's Password is Taco, I should say, and my beloved Twin Terror. It was pretty much a whooping from the beginning, 88.9 from Kyle's team. He had a poor performance across the board. He was hurt bad by a lot of negative performances in the bye weeks. I had a pretty strong showing. I had suffered byes from the previous week, so that was a pretty good strength. All right, Nick's Electric Eagles and Matt's Patriots. Patriots had a pretty solid outing with 154.85 and beat the Knicks team with 116.65. There's not a whole lot to say on this one. Matt has a pretty solid team across the board. We'll see how that works out for him in the playoff hunt. All right, so here we have another close game, and not very high scoring, but Alan Soulish Gingers was victorious against Gaston's Tavern, Brent's team, 91.29 to 86.55. Pretty tough outing for Brent. I know he was talking some noise on the board, so we'll see if he's able to recover. All right, Lance here had 103.85, and he beat Chuck's team 96.5. I really appreciate this, Lance. I need all the help I can get to try to get back into the playoff hunt, and Lightning Storm is definitely one of those teams in my way, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. All right. Scott Steel Panthers, 115.75, hands another loss to the Shaps, Thomas at Shaps, at 102.23. I know Thomas had some byes and some injuries that he had to deal with, but this is a pretty good win for Scott's team. Good job. All right, that's all for this week. So let's take a look at the standings. Okay, here are the standings after week 8. In the oil division, we've got the Cowboys and Patriots at 6 and 2. They're heading up the top of one of the stronger divisions, and it's going to be a battle, I'm sure, to the end. Brent's just one game behind at 5 and 3 with Gaston's Tavern. So Kyle is pulling up the rear at 2 and 6 with Password is Taco, but he's not out of it mathematically. We do have a very generous playoff format with 6 teams making the playoffs, so anything can happen. And as far as the balances here, let's take a quick look. Lee's got himself $10, and he's up $10. Matt's up $2. He would be up more, but he had a couple of bad weeks where he's a low score of the week. Brent has also got him a $2 bill. And Kyle, well, he's paying the difference in there and got him an $8 negative balance so far. So still time to turn that around, Kyle. All right, in the Cotton division here, we've got a pair of teams at 500 with Scott Steel Panthers and Lance's Diva Daughters. Nick's Electric Eagles just one game behind them, so he's not out of the stretch. And believe it or not, Chris Slope's the defending champion at 2 and 6 is still mathematically in the hunt for a playoff spot. So hope is not lost, especially when your best teams in the division are only 500. So right now, that Steel Panthers and Diva Daughters show you their average. They've got a 0 balance, not very financially beneficial or damaging, I guess. Next, Electric Eagles shows 11, but it could be more. I don't believe I've added the $5 penalty for the last failure to submit a lineup, but I'll check on that. And then Chris's Lopes, he's got a negative $4 balance, so he's still got time to claw out of the bottom there, but he's not a whole lot of time anyway. All right, finishing up with the cattle division, we've got Chuck's Lightning Storm at 5-3, along with Alan Soulish Gingers. He's clawed his way up to the top of the division. Chuck has $4 balance, and Alan's got him a positive $2 balance. Nice job, guys. I'm following behind, one game behind at 4-4, and I've got a $2 balance as well. And Thomas is bringing up the rear for the division. He's at 2-6, and he's got a negative $4 balance. So, like I said, no one's out of the race at this point in the season. We've still got plenty of time, especially with the 6 teams making the playoffs. So we'll keep an eye on this, and we'll do a little bit more in depth on the games coming for week 9 as we take a look at those. Okay, so week 9's matchups and the implications on the playoff hunt. Start with the Matt's Patriots against Alan Soulish Gingers. The projection shows 130 to 105, but there's no telling how that's actually going to turn out. Both of these teams are at the top of their divisions, or close to it. You got Matt's 6-2 and Alan at 5-3. So win is very helpful in maintaining their leads in their divisions, whereas a loss would a loss for Alan would definitely help me out. So go Matt. All right, next game, next matchup here, we have my Twin Terror against Lance's Diva Daughters, and both of us are 4-4. So a win would definitely help either one of us tremendously, and a loss would just make our lives that much more miserable. So you know what I'm pulling for. Projection shows a close game, less than a 5-point spread there, 127 to 123. So fortunately, I'm on the right side of that difference, but I'm not sure how much that really gives me confidence. So let's see. All right, the next game here, we got Chris's Lopes at 2-6 against Kyle's Passport is Taco, also at 2-6. So a win definitely would help either one of these teams. They're both at the bottom of the division. They're not out, but they have to have a win now. You know, it's like that. They have to score every possession to get back into this game. Well, that's what we're talking about. It's a must-win situation, essentially, for both of these teams. So the projections show a very tight matchup here, 110 to 108. Chris has got a slight advantage over Kyle, but of course, you know, that can go either way. And if you look at the projections here, it shows that they've got a very tight matchup all weekend long. So we'll see how that one turns out. The next game here, we got Thomas Shaps. They're sitting at 2-6 against Brent's Gaston's Tavern at 5-3. As much as Brent would definitely love to get back on the winning side again, he's not as desperate for that win as much as Thomas is. Thomas really needs that win to get back into the hunt. It's like the other two teams we just talked about. Thomas definitely needs to pull in the right direction now, because another loss would definitely make it very difficult to get back into the playoff hunt. The scoring, the projection here is not too much, not too close. It's 112 to 97, but again, that could change. You never know. One COVID test makes all the difference in the world. All right, Chuck's Lightning Storm is sitting at 5-3, tied with Soulish Gingers, of course, in their division, and right ahead of me. Against Scott's Steel Panthers, sitting at 4-4, who also needs a win to move up in his division. Very, very close matchup here, according to projected points, 116.84 to 117.05. So whoever wins this game is definitely pushing themselves in the right direction. I'm pulling for Scott, you know, because Chuck's in front of my way. So if everything goes the right way, I could definitely vault into the first place, but that requires Scott to win, you know. So go Steel Panthers. All right, here the last game of the week 9 matchups that we're taking a look at. Lee's Cowboys sitting at 6-2 against Nick's Electric Eagles sitting at 3-5. So on paper, this doesn't necessarily, or record shows doesn't look very close. But whenever you look at the projections here, neither one is submitted a lineup, but it shows the Cowboys at 91.1 and the Electric Eagles at 86.68. So we're less than a 5-point difference there, or right at a 5-point difference. Very close game. Nick needs it worse, obviously. Lee could take a loss and still, have an easy route to the playoffs. But Nick's like some of those other teams. If he don't get a win now, it's going to be harder and harder for him to get a one later on. So that's a look at all the projections. That's all I have. Peace.